Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be going through the newest patch notes for the finals. These are patch notes 1.4.0. Merry Patchmas, yokes! Today's patch comes with lots of balance and quality of life improvements across the entire game, along with general crash fixes. We also made major changes to our anti-cheat detection to ensure fewer matches with players who don't play fair. To celebrate the holidays, contestants will find a gift waiting for them, and don't forget to bring your boots to Monaco because it's snowy and the halls have been decked. Ho ho ho, hop in there. So Monaco is all Christmassy now. There's also some Christmas stuff available in the store, I would assume, and then I think there's like a free thing for the Christmas stuff as well. I don't actually know, because I'm making this video before I hop into the game, but everything's Christmassy now, basically. And also here they say they made major changes to their anti-cheat detection, so that's good. I don't think it's really going to do much against the Chinese players unless there's some type of ping lock, but you know, we can see how it works in-game. Onto the balance changes. Goo Gun. Fixed an issue where goo could block the player. Mesh shield health reduced to 1100 from 1250. That's a great nerf. Well done. That's good nerf. It has a bunch of health. This could honestly be down a little more. It really does have like a load of health. It takes a long time to destroy. But that is a good start anyway. Recon Sensors got a little buff here. Recon Sensors activation cost reduced to 1 from 2. So there's that. If you like using those, recon sensors is good. It does give you like wall hacks for a pretty massive range, but the healing beam is probably just still better. But yeah, it's a nice little buff if you like using it. Gadgets. C4 max player damage reduced to 210 from 240. So the damage got nerfed. C4 max damage radius reduced to 1.6 meters from 2.4 meters. The range got nerfed. C4 damage multiplier increased to 1.3 from 1, so now you do more damage to yourself as well. This is a pretty big nerf to the C4, and that's probably because that the meta was pretty much just heavies having barrels, putting 2 C4s on the barrels and then throwing the barrels at someone and then blowing it up. I don't think this is going to prevent that. I think that's still going to be very prevalent, but now it's just going to, like, do a bit less damage, I suppose. So yeah, Dome Shield health reduced to 300 from 350. This is the most disappointing thing on this list, because it really just didn't need a nerf. The Dome Shield didn't need a nerf. It needed a tiny bit of a buff, if anything. Like, if they increased this by the same amount to 400, I would be happy with that. And the reason is because it already went out very, very quickly. Like, if you watch any of my tips and tricks videos, whenever I come across a Dome Shield, I literally just destroy it really, really quickly. I destroy it in like 5 seconds, very, very fast. These things did not have a lot of health to begin with, and I think it's a bit silly that these things have 300 health now, while the mesh shield is up here sitting at 1100. You know? That's like, I could destroy one of these dome shields with 2 shots from a double barrel shotgun. I could destroy one of those dome shields with like half a mag from an AKM. They did not have that much health, and the mesh shield is still sitting here at 1100. So I'm not really happy with that. Like, even when I'm playing against it, I destroy it really quickly, and when I'm using it, they get destroyed really quickly. I think it was fine at 350. Maybe like 375 or 400 health would have been nice. I'm not happy with this nerf. Don't think it's a great decision. But hey, it's only by 50, so it's not going to make the most amount of difference anyway. But that is a pretty hefty nerf, and I don't think it's a fantastic decision. They were already really, really weak to bullets. Gas mine arming time added 1.6 seconds. Glitch trap arming time added 1.6 seconds. So they've just upped the arming time there for both of those. Fix an issue where goo could block the player. They said that at the start as well, didn't they? Hold on. Oh, but it's for the goo grenade. I understand. The other one was for the goo gun. Okay. Crisis averted. Mine. Now, this is a massive nerf, so I'm gonna go through this one slowly. Mine max player damage reduced to 140 from 160. Mine damage radius reduced to 3.5 meters from 4 meters. Mine arming time added 1.6 seconds. So this is the same as it was for the glitch mine and the gas mine, right? That's fine. Mine max player damage is now 140 instead of 160. And this is big, not because it's just 20 damage, but also because 160 one-shotted lights, and 140 doesn't one-shot lights. So that's, like, mines aren't going to one-shot lights anymore, they're just going to do damage, so That's a pretty big nerf. And then also mine damage radius reduced from 3.5 meters to 4 meters. This one I don't like. I don't think the radius needed nerfing. I think the range was fine. Like, sometimes people would be by a cash out and the mines just wouldn't blow it up on the cash out because you were too far away from the mines for the mines to blow up. And, like, I, in loads of games, just revive people that have a mine on their totem, but I just don't go in the range of the mine. So I don't think this is great. Really don't think the range needed to be reduced at all. I think the range was fine as it was. So that's kind of weird. Don't think that needed to happen. And then the max damage I can understand, at least. Like, they don't want mines to one-shot lights. I understand that. And fair enough. But this all put together is a pretty big nerf to mines. Pyromine arming time added 1.6 seconds, so that's the same for all of the other mines. RPG! Here we go! RPG 7, max player damage reduced to 150 from 165. They can still one-shot lights, that is good, but they have reduced the damage by 15. RPG 7, min player damage reduced to 80 from 90, so they've reduced the minimum amount of damage as well. So that's if you, like, hit someone with the AoE, but it's really not a good shot, that is now going to do 80 damage instead of 90. RPG 7 damage radius reduced to 4.5 meters from 4.75 meters. So they've nerfed the range of it as well by a very small amount, but that is still a nerf. RPG 7 max damage radius reduced to 1.5 meters from 2.5 meters. Oh, that's a massive nerf. So the max damage radius, the radius in which it would do the max damage, used to be 2.5 meters, and now that's off by a whole meter. So, you know, now instead of getting that 165 damage, you're probably going to be getting this 80 damage more frequently. Which is fair enough. RPG was super easy to aim a lot of the time, so, you know, gonna have to see how it works in-game. RPG 7, aim down sights dispersion increased slightly. Aim down sights dispersion increased slightly. I would assume that means that if you're aiming down the sights, it doesn't know where it's going to go, or something. Like, maybe it goes a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right sometimes. I'm not so sure. I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me down below, because I'm not 100% sure on what that means. I'd also have to try it out in-game. RPG hip fire dispersion increased slightly. I think this means that the bullet isn't going to go where you want it to go sometimes. With some of the guns in this game in general, sometimes things don't go where the crosshair is, and I really don't like that. I think that's really bad. With the revolver in particularly, the revolver have some issues where if you aim it really fast, the bullets don't register, even if it's right on the crosshair. And even with the throwing knives as well, I believe if you're like jumping with the throwing knives, the knives don't go where the reticle is. And I think that should be like abolished from the game. I think everything should just go where the crosshair is. For the revolver anyway, and for the throwing knives. When you're jumping, I think they should still just go in the center of the screen. So I don't really like it when things don't go towards the center, because that's how most of the other guns work, and I think it's good for accuracy. And, like, these are all very big nerfs, so I don't think they needed to throw in these two as well. But it might not be by much. I might be overreacting to this. I'm gonna have to see how it worked in-game. But, like, I think all four of these were just fine as they were, and I don't think it really needed these two added on. I think guns being accurate is good, and yeah, I don't know, we're gonna have to see how it works in game. Moving on, stun gun. Increased stun gun range to 12 meters from 10 meters, so that's just got a bit more range now. Maps. Game show events added a repulsor to the flying sources in the alien invasion event. I don't know what this is, so I'd have to find out in game, but that is going to be there now as well. Vegas. Updated strain in various buildings to give better destruction results. Resolved an issue where cash-out stations would become invisible before players finished the transfer. Modes. Banquet. Disallowed deathmatch game show event from occurring in Banquet game mode. Weapons. AKM. Slight adjustment to AKM recoil pattern. I'm going to have to see how this works in game. I don't know if it's a nerf or if it's a buff. We're going to have to see once I play a few games. Flamethrower. Flamethrower fire rate increased to 170 from 160. Very small nerf to the flamethrower. In the open beta, people said it was overpowered when it wasn't really, and kind of just got nerfed into the ground, so now it's got another little buff. So fair enough. LH1 damage is increased to 47 from 45. LH1's pretty good. It just has a lot of visual recoil, but now it's going to be better. Yeah, Yeah, it wasn't the most used weapon in the game, just because it was a little bit hard to use, but this is definitely a significant buff there anyway. Melee weapons fix an issue where melee hits didn't always connect with enemy players. M11 damage increased to 16 from 15. That's the world's smallest buff. That's there. If, like, I think the problem with the M11 isn't really the damage. I think it's just the recoil pattern is a bit hard and the iron sights aren't fantastic on it. But there is a buff for that, so that might be like amazing now. Its fire rate is super fast, so that might actually make a big difference. Riot Shield fixed a bug where the shield would block bullets while invisible during interactions. So yeah, so if you were playing the Riot Shield and you tried to steal the cash out, the Riot Shield would just go invisible sometimes, and it would be really unfortunate because you'd be trying to shoot whoever was stealing it, and you wouldn't be able to because you just wouldn't see the Riot Shield, but that's been fixed now. SA-1216. SA-1216 pellet dispersion increased slightly. SA-1216 damage per pellet reduced to 7 from 8. So this is going to be less accurate now. You have to, like, be closer to people to get more damage done, because there's more pellet dispersion, I suppose. And then also, it's just straight up got a nerf to the damage. Pellets do 7 damage instead of 8. Again, I'm going to have to be in-game to test this out still. But that sounds like it's going to make the shotgun a lot more usable now. A lot more fair, rather. It was very usable before, and now I think it's just going to be quite usable. Yeah, we'll have to see how that works in-game as well. Movement. Vaulting. Reduced instances where you unintentionally climbed on objects outside of the player's view. Fix an issue where players could get stuck without being able to give input. Ziplines. Prevented placement of ziplines on pick-upables. UI, various fixes to contestant screens, so that's like super vague, so that's good. Polish to the social screen, which now hides the invite to party button when you are not the party leader. Okay, alright. Added a warning to the UI that appears when players are in danger of being AFK kicked. Fair enough. Player health bars now use the squad color when selected in the settings. Okay. UI shows you as unranked unless you're among the top 500 on the leaderboards. So, to recap, the mesh shield got a small nerf, and I'm saying small because it's still got a bunch of health. The health wasn't reduced by much compared to, like, the total HP, right? C4 got nerfed. This is still going to be used a lot. It's still going to be strong. It's still going to one-shot lights, and I think people are still going to put it on barrels and then blow up the barrels, but they're just not going to be as good as they were now. Dome shield got a nerf. This is, like, mad. Really so much didn't need a nerf. This is a little bit disappointing in my opinion, but you know, there we are. Here we are. We've got to deal with it. Mine has been nerfed. This is no longer going to one-shot lights, so that's pretty significant, and also 20 damage difference is pretty significant as well. You can still just put 2 mines in the same place, that I think a lot of people aren't going to do that, but you can do that to, like, one-shot a light still, and then the rest of it got nerfed as well. And also for all of the mines, they're all like 1.6 seconds now. RPG got nerfed very heavily. We're going to have to see how that works in-game, and we're going to have to see how this dispersion works in-game. And then there were also a few smaller weapon changes here. Hopefully the shotgun isn't as strong anymore. Hopefully the M11 is a bit more usable, and I'd say the LH1 is going to be a bit more used now as well. Anyway, there you go. There's your 1.4.0 patch notes. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.